the greatest common divisor and least common multiple. Before we begin, let's look at some definitions. The greatest common divisor, or GCD, is the largest divisor that divides two numbers evenly. The least common multiple, or LCM, of two natural numbers is the smallest natural number that is a multiple of both numbers. Let's take a look at some examples. Find the GCD and LCM of the following pair of natural numbers: 12 and 40. We're asked to find the GCD and LCM of 12 and 40. To do this, we first want to factor each of those numbers into the set of prime factors. First, we'll write down the number 12. And we need to think of two numbers that when multiplied together will give us 12. I know that 2 times 6 is 12, so I'll write those numbers down. 2 is a prime number, so you can circle it. 6 is not a prime number, so we need to think of two numbers that when multiplied together will give us 6. I know that 2 times 3 is 6. 2 is a prime number, and 3 is also a prime number. Now that I've factored everything into the set of prime numbers, I can rewrite 12 as 2 times 2 times 3. And don't forget, you can always check your answer by multiplying these numbers together. When you multiply 2 times 2 times 3 together, you should get 12. Now we're going to factor 40 into the set of prime numbers. Two numbers that when multiplied together give me 40 are 2 times 20. 2 is a prime number. Two numbers that when multiplied together that will give me 20 is 2 times 10. 10 can be rewritten as 2 times 5. And then we can go ahead and circle the 2, and we can also circle the 5 since that's a prime number. Now I have the set of prime numbers for 40. 40 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Now that we factor each number into the set of prime numbers, we can find the GCD. To find the GCD, we want to write down all the factors that they have in common. Again, we want to write down all the factors that they have in common. So let's look at the factors of 12. The first factor is a 2. If we look at 40, there's also a factor of 2. So they have a 2 in common. So we can write down a 2. If we look at the next factor of 12, we can see that there's another 2. 40 also has another 2 in common. So we can write down another 2 for our GCD. 12 now has a 3, but 40 does not have a 3, so we cannot write that factor down. 40 has another 2, but 12 does not have any more 2's, so we cannot write that 2 down. Again, with the 5, 12 does not have a 5, so they don't have a 5 in common, so we can't write that factor down. The only factors that they have in common are 2 2's. So the GCD is 2 times 2, or 4. Next, we're going to find the LCM, or the least common multiple. To find this, we're going to write down the factors that we see the greatest number of times. So we're going to write down the factor each factor the greatest number of times that appears in one number. I'll write down the factors again. So we have 2 times 2 times 3, and then 40 was 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. So again, we want to write down the factor that appears the greatest number of times. First, we'll look at the 2. 2 appears 2 times in the number 12, but it appears 3 times in the number 40. So the greatest number of times that 2 appears is 3 times in any one factor. So we'll write 2 times 2 times 2. So we took care of our 2's, so now we're going to look at the 3. The greatest number of times that 3 appears in any one number is 1 time. So we'll write down 1, 3. Now we'll look at the 5. The greatest number of times that 5 appears in any one number is 1 time. So we'll write down 1, 5. So the LCM is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. When we multiply all of those numbers together, we get 120. So the LCM is 120. When we go to MyMathLab, we'll be asked to type in the answer to the GCD first. The GCD of 12 and 40 is 4. So we'll put our cursor in the text box and type in a 4. Then we'll select Check Answer. Next, we'll be prompted to type in the answer for the LCM. So again, we'll put our answer in the answer box and type in 120. We'll check our answer, and now we completed the entire problem. Assume that an airline's flights for Miami leave every 33 minutes and flights for Dallas leave every 63 minutes. If flights to Miami and Dallas have just departed, how many minutes will it be before this happens again? To solve this problem, we want to find the least common multiple. To do that, we're going to factor 33 into the set of prime numbers and 63 into the set of prime numbers. So two numbers that when multiplied together give me 33 are 3 and 11. 3 is a prime number and 11 is a prime number. So the set of prime numbers for 33 is just 3 times 11. Now we'll do the same thing with 63. Two numbers that when multiplied together to give me 63 are 3 times 21. 3 is a prime number, but 21 can be rewritten as 3 times 7. 3 is a prime number and 7 is a prime number. So the set of prime numbers for 63 are 3 times 3 times 7. Now I'm going to find the LCM. Again, the LCM is found by taking the factor that appears the greatest number of times in any one number. First, we'll look at the factor of 3. It appears 1 time in 33, but it appears 2 times in 63. So the greatest number of times that 3 appears in any one of these numbers is 2 times. So we'll write down 2 3s. Now that I wrote down the 3s, I can check those off and look at the next factor. I have an 11. 11 appears 1 time in 33 and 0 times in 63. So the greatest number of times that it appears is 1 time. So I'll write down 111. Now I took care of both factors of 33, so I want to go to 63 and see if there's any other factors that I need to look at. And there is. We have a 7. So 7 appears 1 time in 63, but 0 times in 33. So the greatest number of times that 7 appears is 1 time. Now that I looked at all of the factors in each of those numbers, I know that my LCM is 3 times 3 times 11 times 7. To find the LCM, now we'll just multiply those numbers together. When you multiply 3 times 3 times 11 times 7 together, you get 693. Therefore, the flights will depart at the same time again after 693 minutes. We will simply type our answer of 693 into MyMathLab. So we'll place our cursor in the answer box that appears and type in 693. Next, we'll select Check Answer.